Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be diving into a little bit of technical analysis here on 𝗲𝗧𝗧. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will not miss another update here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with that said, done and out of the way, let's get into this TA on 𝗲𝗧𝗧. So VRA, we are paired up with USDT. We are on the weekly chart to start with, and KuCoin is our data source on TradingView. So if you wanted to replicate these charts, that is how you'd go ahead and do it. We are, of course, taking a look at these 5 impulse waves to the upside. Everything here is looking pretty tidy. Wave 1 was incredibly flat here. Wave 2, not too bad. Again, quite a slow kind of burner. A nice wave 3 to the upside. Steepish correction with wave 4, and a good start to this 5th wave as well. So we are pushing up nicely, and we have got some interesting kind of price targets and price prediction of where we think 𝗲𝗧𝗧 is going to end at the end of the bull run here. Now on this weekly chart, we can see that wave 1 was incredibly a bit slow, nothing too amazing about it. Wave 2 did take us down into the oversold area on our stochastic. Wave 3 had a good push to the upside, really was overbought before going back down to the oversold area down in our stochastic as we had the 4th wave correction. Now we're back up in the overbought area. We are looking to track this for a bit of time up here, thinking that the bull run's likely to end around the end of the year, like November, December, early January, that kind of time frame. Obviously, timing is the hardest thing to gauge, so you have to be a little bit careful with it. But we are, of course, looking to move up quite significantly. Now, if I grab my price range here, from the current position to where our 5th wave would end, would be about 450% on the current position. Now, that's not going to happen in 24 hours or 48 hours. That is something that's we're going to see over a period of time, several weeks to months, right? By the time the bull run ends, we should have seen 450% in gains, okay? That's the idea here. This is not get rich quick. This is a nice, steady, slow moving investment. Although it's much faster than the stock market, it is obviously volatile. It is the crypto space. I am not a financial advisor. Chris is not a financial advisor. So make sure you do your own research. Now, for full clarity on this one, I am not invested in 𝗲𝗧𝗧𝗧, but I really do like the project. I think it's got a really good, unique use case. And the only reason I'm not invested is I just simply haven't got the space in my portfolio for another cryptocurrency right now. That being said, I do think this project has a lot of potential to it. So if this is your bag, then do more research, dig into it, all that kind of stuff. I do see another 450% here, and I'm going to go through with what I am talking about. So on this weekly chart, everything's looking pretty good and tidy, moving to the upside in a nice, pretty decent way here. So let's jump down into our daily on this brief update for 𝗲𝗧𝗧𝗧 and talk about what we're seeing in the most recent kind of price action. Now, obviously, wave 3 was a pretty good time here for 𝗲𝗧𝗧𝗧, peaking out up there at about 5.6 cent before starting to go back to the downside. Now, we did find some interesting buy zone areas just at the bottom here. For example, this was identified quite early on once we had these couple of wicks just here, and we actually came down into the lower area here of about 0.007. Okay, so again, this is the buy zone. This is where you're accumulating a large portion of of VRA, right? And again, if you're able to buy this dip right at the bottom to the current position today, you've earned yourself about 400%. Okay, so again, not too bad to get a little 4x on your position within a very short space of time. Okay, so again, this is important that we understand what goes on with each of these corrections, what we're expecting to happen next, right? We've been bullish on this whole journey, knowing that this isn't a bear market during this 4th wave correction, but just a push to the upside. And 𝗲𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧 here is, of course, taking out a few key areas. We are fighting up against a bit of resistance. We're going to go through that in a moment. But before we jump down into the lower timeframes, I do want to just acknowledge that we were overbought. We had a correction as during this kind of correction to the upside. So we had a good push to the upside, a good recovery, I should say. Right, so the correction coming down takes us into the oversold area. Push to the upside takes us into the overbought area. This little kind of sideways trade corrects us a little bit. Push back to the upside, goes back into the overbought area. And then we obviously start to see a nice kind of correction just here. Not too bad. Takes us back into the oversold area. Big push to the upside. Bitcoin, unfortunately, pulled us down at a very key moment for 𝗲𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧. We should have actually been up here tracking up to new highs up this area here. But Bitcoin did take us down back to the oversold area. So now we are in actually a better position than we were previously, right? We're down here. we're a little bit higher. So again, we are setting higher lows. Okay, so again, that's low, that's higher than this low. So again, that's not too bad, very bullish overall. And ultimately, we are now looking to track back to the upside, fight these key areas that we're talking about here for Varsity. Now, before we get into the smaller time frame and just talk about where the battles are actually currently happening, it's important that we acknowledge that the high for wave 3 was 5.6, and our first fight price target comes in at 8.6 cent. Okay, so we're currently at 3.7 at the point of recording this video. The first target of the 1.618 comes in at 8.6 cent. The 2.618, this comes in at 13.4 cent, with the 3.618 coming in at 18.3. We should top out the bull run at about 21.3 cent with the 4.236 extension. Again, this is a coin with very little money in the space, so it can blast straight past this depending on the marketing and the kind of traction that this project gets. Overall, the technicals at the moment are indicating this kind of level, which wouldn't be too bad at all. A good return on investment, like I said, about 450% from the current position to the top of this area here. So during this, the remaining part of this cycle, we should see a pretty good return. And again, we can dollar cost average much better positions in the bear market. I am super stoked for the bear market to come, because that's where the money is actually made, and the bull run's really just about managing your emotions, and yet you make your money in the bear market. So do stick around. We're going to go through all those strategies in the coming months. Right now, Varsity here is performing well, and let's get into what is going on with the smaller time frames, where we talk about that issues that we are having right now in terms of this yellow box area. So this yellow box area here represents 3 Fibonacci areas. We have the 618 at the bottom, the 702 in the middle, and then the 786 at the top there. Now, the frustrating thing that we had is we were tracking nicely up here, just getting past that 786 area, whilst being nicely and oversold in this area here. And then Bitcoin decided to pull us all the way down, back to the start, to position down here, right? Very frustrating, because we were having such a good time tracking this area and getting us into a good position to then really move the needle back to the upside and get back into price discovery, take out those key areas on those 1.618, the 2.618, the 3.618, etc. Right? But right now we're actually battling up again, right? So just past the 702, we're getting rejected from there, trying to fight our way and hold the area of the 618. Again, this is now looking like a support line, but we are in the middle of a correction pulling down, so we're likely to pull back a little bit lower than the 618. And what we're looking for is traction to get past the 618, past the 702, and get back up above the 786. This looks like it's going to take a little bit of time. But again, timing is the hardest thing to gauge. I'm confident long term. Taking a look at the weekly chart, taking a look at the daily chart, they all lined up quite nicely for a good push to the upside. But we do need the hourly to have a good correction to the downside here, and then have a good push to the upside. Now, we don't mean that we need to see the price fall all the way down, but we need to see them the sentiment in the market kind of have a more bullish sentiment rather than bearish. And what we need by that is basically throw the volume on here. We can see that during this kind of pullback here, the volumes grow. Okay, we don't want to grow the volumes while we're pushing the price down. We want the volumes to decrease on the way down. A testament is this current kind of price action here. We have a slight decline on the volume. That's what we want to see. If we continue to decline the volume whilst we decline our stochastic, we'll protect the price the best we can, which means we'll probably only go down to about 3.6 cent on this correction before we start to see another push to the upside from the oversold area on the stochastic back to the upside. And in doing that, and we grow the volume with it, we should be able to take out this 786 pretty quickly and then get that closed candle in a good position. The question really becomes, will we see it by Sunday, on the close of Sunday, get the weekly close up there, because that's the one that really matters. If we cannot get the weekly close up here, we could be in for a bit of a turbulent week where we do see several different pullbacks occur before we actually start to see good traction back to the upside. Overall, if we are ever in doubt, we always zoom out, check out what's going on with the daily, check out what's going on with the weekly. This is where you get to see the bigger picture, and we don't get too focused in on what is going on with those smaller time frames. Overall, I'm very confident that Varsity is going to perform well, and towards the end of the bull run, we are likely to see this 450% in my opinion. We just need to kind of curb our emotions during some of the volatility on the smaller time frames. But the daily and the weekly are perfectly fine. They are looking quite nice, and we should be starting to see some pretty decent traction to the upside shortly. Hopefully, guys, you have found this brief update on Varsity useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.